This is Guardian Radio, your station for up-to-the-minute news, intelligent, interactive, and engaging conversation. 96.9 FM. The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the position of the management and staff of Guardian Network.
Welcome, good night to the Doctor's In with me, Dr. Janota Archer-Cochran. Okay, we got a little bit of feedback, producer. Let me know if that's me or you. Okay. Okay, hello? All right. Hello, good night. So we're having a little technical problem. Let me just see if I adjust it. Is that better? Nope. Let me know if you can hear me, but I'm getting a lot of feedback on my side. But anyway, tonight, I guess we'll have to try to work. Okay, it's gone away now. I don't know what that was all about, but thank you everyone for joining me tonight on The Doctor Is In with me, Dr. Janota Archer, on Guardian Radio. Thank you. Every Tuesday night at 6:30, we talk all things health, wellness, and things that pertain to the Bahamian society. And tonight we're going to be talking about health tips, things that you should look out for during the holiday. We're getting close to Christmas, which is a really amazing time of year. So I'm really thankful for another wonderful year that we're about to move into. And I just want to say thanks for a great year. And it's been crazy the last few years, but overall, we do really have to thank God for our health and strength and for all, that have kept us and sustained us. It's been a trying time for many. We've had people who've lost their lives, and many who have sustained a lot of injuries. And so, it's a great time to give thanks, to look back, and to look at what you've learned as well throughout the year, because I think we've got a lot of learning lessons that should help you to make you a stronger person, a better person. And we try to take as much silver lining out of our situations as possible. I always try to have a positive outlook despite everything that might be happening. Hopefully we're having a bit of an economic turnaround, but we know that things are also hard for a lot of people. And so this is the season to look out for your brother, to be your brother's keeper, and to help where you can. Now, with tonight's show, there's going to be a lot of embedded, which we are going to see how well you can kind of remember some of the stuff, because our show on the 20th, we're going to be doing a few giveaways. So we're going to be mentioning some things throughout the show. And I hope you would take the time to just kind of remember some of the pointers, some of the main points that we're going to talk about. Because, it's been 4 years since the show started. I remember my first guest was actually Dr. Dwayne Sands, the Minister of Health. And, 4 years of doing shows consistently, it's amazing to think how many topics we have gone over the years. And then we've had some COVID in there. I had a baby in there. So this has been a very memorable 4 years, and I hope you all have enjoyed it as well. And so we look to start the new year, new topics, new seasons, new things. And just Bahamas and the health education of all those who are listening. So like I said tonight, we're going to talk about some health tips, some health topics that can get you through the holidays. Of course, tonight's show brought to you by Medical Concierge Services for all your medical health needs. We're located in the Bahamas Heart Center on Collins Avenue. We're a family medicine clinic. And so we see all ages, children, adults, our older patients. We also specialize in home care services. So if you need a doctor or someone to come, a medical health professional to come out and see you in whatever capacity, we can help you out with that. And you can reach us 326-1521. Our new WhatsApp line, 432-4010. And you can use that to reach out for appointments, sign up for NHI, a lot of variety of different things. You can find out more about us at mcsfamilymedicine.com, Facebook, and Instagram. And so with the Instagram, they always tell me I need to say the Instagram because it's medical_concierge_services. But we're just medical concierge services online. And you can also find me, Dr. D, on Facebook at the Doctors In with me, Dr. D. So thanks for joining in tonight. So we're going to look at some, I found this one was very interesting. So I'm kind of probably going to start with this idea of just a few healthy tips during the holiday. And then we'll probably move into talking about this is the one I really, really wanted to talk about. I thought was kind of interesting, just kind of to start us all off, was just 10 of the biggest health risks that persons face during Christmas. So this is kind of interesting just to think about what kind of things end up being risky that wouldn't be risky usually, but are risky during this time. And so health and safety are all a part of things that we think about during the holiday season. And so what is one of the number one riskiest things to do during the holiday season? Decorating injuries is the number one kind of health problem that happens during this time that we usually don't think about. So for all of you who are really excited and want to go up and put up lights, please be careful because this is kind of the number one injury or problem that people have. They get really, really excited. They go to put up their Christmas lights. We don't do it as much in Bahamas, but we do have some people that do some really at home. And I think it's going to be exciting, with things being back open to see what people really put up there on their Christmas trees. So this can be one of the riskiest things you do. You might be going up and down on a ladder. We're lucky we don't have snow or sleet and those things that make those things even worse. But unsteady ladders tend to be one of the riskiest things that you can do. And basically in the United States, tens of thousands of people get injured every year just doing this simple task. And so the best way to just be safe is to stabilize the ladder on a flat surface before using it. And you want to wear really, really sturdy shoes, and you want to decorate before you have something to drink. So don't drink your eggnog and then go up to put your Christmas lights. You want to go the other way around. And then number two, and I kind of have like a little audience in the back here, and they kind of know is electric shock. So, my husband's an electrician. So we try to be as safe as we can. So after, having injuries on ladders, electric shocks are one of the most dangerous things that you can be doing during the holidays or happen to you. Because you're hanging a lot of lights, you're putting in a lot of things into sockets, you're pulling out old plugs, old lights, you're doing all these different things. And so, these lights and stuff, some of them have been sitting for 11, 12 months in your attic, in your basement, in a drawer somewhere. And we just kind of pull out these wires, hoping for the best. And they may have been exposed to a lot of things. So you want to be careful with that. And of course, faulty lights and, being shocked and all that stuff like that. So that is kind of number 2 on the list. And that contributes a lot to even fires with Christmas trees. So be mindful of how you approach the outlets. Something that we talked about a few weeks ago, of course, are coughs, our colds, our contagious illnesses like flu, RSV is going around. So this is typically the season that we see that. So we're really getting back into our normal routine when we talk about coughs and colds and flus. And even though the pandemic made things a lot different, we still have to be extremely mindful of that. And so you want to avoid touching your face and consistently wash your hands. When you're out and about, So there are a lot of other things out there. And that's kind of number 3 on our list. Overheating. So if we look at some dishes that we may like, sometimes heating food can be an issue during this time, and leftovers, food poisoning, those kind of things that you want to consider during the holiday season. And just be careful with the food that you're that you're heating up. What type of food is it? Potato salad, those types of things, or any foods that might be in the fridge for a while. You really want to look at that. And overeating, which is what most people actually look forward to Christmas doing. So people look forward to Christmas and kind of packing in all of these things. And this is something where people really, really overindulge and where they gain a lot of weight. And so for my patients, I tell them, it's Christmas time. I know you want to do all these things. Less is more. So kind of my guidance is that, you can have a little bit sometimes of everything, but have less than you usually would. So you're not overdoing it. You don't want your sugar to go up. A lot of people come out into January and they have their glucose and everything is out of control. So keep that in mind. Don't overeat. Don't overdo it. I know it's Christmas time, but try to be cognizant of the food that you put into your body, and try to be mindful of how much you are eating and drinking. So portion control, right? You can have a little piece of that pie, but you don't need 4 slices. So portion control is going to be really, really important. We touched on it, food poisoning, of course, which is in addition to overeating, and that's really associated with food that can be sometimes left out for a long period of time. We tend to do like a buffet style with most of our holiday meals. So the food is out. They may not be able to get everything in the fridge, and so it's out on the counter. So that can be an issue. Food not cooked to a proper temperature. So make sure you've got your thermometer and everything's cooked appropriately. And food that gets exposed to cross-contamination. So mixing foods that should not to be together, cold and hot. That can also be a problem. So you want to follow the safety guidelines as much as possible. You can see outlines on places like the CDC, because food poisoning can really ruin your time and just kind of mess up your holidays. And nobody wants to get sick or end up in the hospital during the holiday season. It's also a time you have to be mindful of mental health. There is a lot of anxiety during the holiday season, and this can be a challenge for a lot of people, and this can be a very stressful time. It can be a stressful time just because of cooking. It can be a stressful time because of finances. Some people also, they don't have a lot of family and friends, and they're kind of like sad and depressed or anxious over the holidays. So mental health is one of those things that we really have to take into consideration during the holidays. And if you need help, if you're alone or you have anxiety, reach out if you're having any depression or anything like that. There's a lot of things that can be related to why a person might be anxious or depressed during the holiday season. And sometimes the holiday season tends to make it a bit worse. So look out for yourself and look out for others. Take time to yourself if you need to, and start your shopping and your cleaning early. Kind of pace yourself. For me, I'm a person who like to write down the things that I need to do and plan. And so if you take some time to plan those things out, you may have a lot less anxiety going on this Christmas season. It can be quite the rush. And we know Bahamians like to wait till the last, all over the city in the last week or 2 of December. And so get ahead of all of that and, try to get your stuff done early, make a list of the things that you need to do. and that tends to cut down a bit on the anxiety. So there's a lot of preparation during this time. And one of the number 7 on the list of things that kind of happen often during the holidays is people with deep cuts. So be careful when you're using utensils and sharp knives in the kitchen. There's going to be a lot of cooking going on. And so we see a lot of people in accidents in the kitchen related to sharp objects. And so lacerations and cuts are really common injuries around this time. And they can come from chopping up food from dinner, cutting, wrapping paper for gifts. Oh, if you've had a paper cut, you know that can be one of the most excruciating pains ever. So picking up broken glass from ornaments or decorations, especially if you're diabetic, you really want to be cognizant if you do get any of those injuries or cuts to be watching that, taking care of that, and taking your medication, of course. And so one of the best ways to prevent them is being careful, slowing down, because, accidents can happen and they tend to happen when you rush. So we're going to take on a relaxed mode this Christmas, and so that we can avoid some of these injuries throughout the season. Number 8 on our list would be smoke inhalation and burns. So if you think about it, there are a lot of flammable things around about this time and during the holiday season. And this includes Christmas trees, burning candles, fire. For those of you who have a fireplace. I have a fireplace actually in my home. So I don't know how many Baymans actually have fireplaces, but fireplaces can be hazardous. Food that can get cooked in your home. If you're using hot plates, different things like that, you have to consider all that stuff. And so when burning or cooking these items, you want to make sure that you keep an eye out for them and you never leave those items unattended, especially candles. Candles can be very beautiful, but also very dangerous. So also, if you're doing any deep frying, I know the Americans like to do all kinds of weird things with their turkeys, like deep frying turkeys on the holiday and stuff like that. You want to make sure you're going to do that someplace where you have ample space and protective clothing. And because when that cold turkey hits the oil, a lot of injuries can happen. So really a lot of freak accidents with cooking and stuff like that. So smoke inhalation, burns, those are number 8 on the list. Choking, this is number 9. So we know you're going to get excited. You really want that food. You're growling. She's making all kind of pie and cake and guava duff and all kinds of stuff, but you got to slow down. So slow down on how you're eating. It's surprising how many people have choking injuries during this time. So you want to avoid overstuffing yourself, and you want to avoid choking on some of your favorite foods, because that is a really serious health concern during the holiday season. Another thing is you want to look out for small toys, because if you have little kids or pets in the home, people are opening toys and bits and pieces are all over the place. So they can mistake those for food. So you want to really be careful. I have a less than toddler, 1-year-old in the house. He likes to put everything in his mouth. So if you have a kid that's going to pick up stuff, you really have to make sure that the floor is clear and the area is clear, because it's busy and people might be in and out of the home. And so you have to watch out for those choking in small animals. It's also the season of chocolate, so make sure keep a safe distance from your animals. So if you're a dog lover, dogs and chocolate don't really go very good together. So please be safe with those things. This is number 10, but this is a big one because we have a lot of people who drink alcohol. Binge drinking. So some people may, have a drink or two throughout the year, but Christmas time, they really kind of amp up the amount of alcohol that they put into their body. So you want to be conscious of not binge drinking. I know there's a lot of selection out there. You're going to have open bar parties. And even people party hopping, so going from one event to the other. So it's a time to celebrate, but it doesn't mean that you have to go overboard. So please enjoy alcohol responsibly. If your celebration exceeds your expectations, take a ride home. Please don't jump inside your car if you know that you did, because hazards on the street driving, it's going to be. It never ends up really well. So celebrate, but have a designated driver, or sleep on someone's couch, but don't go out there drinking alcohol if you are intoxicated, or driving really if you are intoxicated. So those were some of the main kind of injuries and stuff that I saw as I was going along in terms of what people can look out for in terms of safety during holiday season. And so I wanted to point those out first. The next topic that we're going to talk about, and remember, keep some of these topics in mind. We're going to have these as some trivia questions on our show on the 20th. We're going to be giving out some gift certificates, some cash, and some prizes. So if you're taking notes, kind of remember some of the main points that we talked about so that you can part that show. And so our next topic is going to be 7 tips for staying healthy during the holiday season. And so we pulled out the top ones that we thought were going to be really, really healthy tips for those of you who listen to the show and you want to enjoy the holidays, but you still want to keep it healthy. You still want to keep up what you've been doing all year round. And so number 1 on our list is keep it moving. So even though you may have shorter days and a packed schedule, you still need to devote some time to being active, keeping yourself active, taking a short walk while you're on a break from work, doing some exercises or yoga in the morning, riding your bike if you can to the grocery store, if you forgot an item, if you're close by, doing activities with your children. Those things can just keep the activities going, and you can do those things as a fun. And, of course, that's going to strengthen your immune system because this is cough and cold season, and it's going to help you to decrease your stress and remove all that unwanted weight. So in case you do eat a little bit more, you have a few more calories. If you're keeping active, then you can keep that to a minimum. And that's going to be a way to just keep healthy. So just finding little ways throughout your day to add exercise and activity involving your family and your friends is going to be a really good way of keep cutting down those calories during. So focus on the fun, not the food and the drinks. So swap out some of maybe your cooking traditions and instead do some other traditional things like volunteering or making ornaments. So instead of maybe doing that extra baking pan of cake with your daughter, you want to maybe do an ornament making task or something like that. So do some other things, bring some other holiday traditions into your routine, because sometimes we make it just about cooking and eating and drinks, and there are other things that we can also do. Now, get enough sleep. And I say this all the time, how important sleep is. So being tired can really increase your stress. It makes you really low energy. It makes unhealthy eating and drinking decisions when you're really, really sleepy. So if you're getting adequate amount of sleep, you can make really good decisions about your health more consciously. So don't overbook yourself on holiday events and try to stick to a regular bedtime every night. So don't go crazy with the events and stuff like that. I know everybody's saying they're booked out every single weekend, but find some time to get yourself some rest. Sleep in on a Saturday evening or a Sunday morning. For those of you, I'm not telling you not to go to church, but get some rest. Skip one of those events this time. It's going to do you a lot of good, and it's going to be really, really good for you. Okay. My guest here is saying skip Junkanoo. So those, I know a lot of people are going to be going to Junkanoo this year, and people are just waiting. So get your sleep before you go to Junkanoo, and that's going to be really, really good, right? One that you might realize, don't skip meals. A lot of people don't realize how bad it is. Sometimes if you have a routine and you skip a meal, especially breakfast, skipping meals can lead to making unhealthy choices, overeating at a later meal. And if you have a schedule that is really, really busy, you want to plan ahead and pack your snacks accordingly. So you even know that when you don't eat sometimes in the morning or you wait until later in the afternoon, if you haven't planned, you tend to make really terrible choices. So that's usually the time when you eat all kinds of things and it's holiday time and you might have an idea that you want to stick to a particular diet. But if you're skipping meals and that's not your norm, then you're going to be really, really hungry. And so that extra piece of cake or two is going to look really, really good. So you want to think about that, and you want to plan for your meals and your choices. And so don't save up for that party, because some people do that. They say, I'm not going to eat breakfast. I'm not going to eat lunch. I've got a big party this evening. And that's when you overeat and you kind of binge on food. So you want to actually plan accordingly and still eat your proper meals. And that way you are very balanced when you go to your event. You want to drink lots of water. So cold weather and indulging in the holidays, it's going to be a lot of drinks, a lot of fruity drinks, a lot of sugar, a lot of to drink water. So you want to bring a bottle of water with you if you're going somewhere, if you don't expect there to be water, but you have to stay hydrated. And most of you will realize that with the cool weather, you tend not to want to drink as much water, but you still would get dehydrated. So make sure that you're consistent with your water. You're drinking water as you usually do. And you can take a bottle of water with you to different events, depending on where you're going. So keeping hydrated, super, super important that you do that. Another way of keeping healthy during the holidays is by changing up some of your recipes of your dishes and finding healthier choices. So you can go online and you can find healthier choices for some of your recipes just by switching out one or two things like heavy cream to, a lower fat cream or butter, cutting down on the amount. But there are ways that you can make the things that you really, really love without it being super unhealthy. So there's a lot of options for that online. So, check it out. It might be just that thing that helps you for the holidays. So doing your recipes with healthier choices can be a really, really good thing to do. And it's a great exercise. It gets you to learn how to cook in different ways and incorporate different foods into your normal routine. Of course, you do not want to forget your fruits and your vegetables. So just because there's so much variety of sweet treats out there, comfort foods, holiday foods and drinks, you don't want to forget your fruits and vegetables. So they're very low in calories. They're a good source of vitamins and minerals, and they can keep your immune system really, really going. And so you want to have a great holiday season. You want to stay healthy. And so you don't want to forget things like your fruits and your vegetables, because those are the things that are going to keep you going for a really, really long time. And then you really want to just do the normal prevention for any respiratory illnesses like we talked about. And for me, I like to have some vitamin C on hand. Of course, we talked about the good hygiene, washing your hands, making sure those things are done appropriately. And those are some of our major, major tips. So we're going to take a break, and then we're going to come right back and talk about some of our food choices, how we can tweak them, and 12 other ways to have a healthy holiday season. So we'll be right back on the Doctor's In with me, Dr. Eve, with more health tips that you can use for the holiday season. Be back in a moment.
Patrol queens of the neighborhood.
We now large and in charge, so we need to check out what's going on in everybody's yard. What about that gun that we know that Junior and his homeboys just ran out? Can we report that too?
Of course we can.
But we could be in deep trouble if they find out.
We need to report what we see, Beulah. When you call Crime Stoppers, they just answer your call in Miami.
So then we can report everything? Guns, where they hiding the drugs, who shoot who part of which gang, or who disturbing the peace with the loud music and the motorcycles.
Then our neighborhood will be the best in the Bahamas, and everybody gonna want to come live here. And then our house price will go up, gal.
So what we waiting on? What's the number?
If you see something, say something. Let us all pitch in and stop the crime before it's your time. Call 328-8477 from Nassau or 242-300-8477 from the Family Islands. Or text us through the Crack Crime Bahamas app. Stop the crime before it's your time.
Love the show? Want to give your support? Become a sponsor today. Call 302-2300 for our rates and packages. That's 302-2300. Become a sponsor on Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
Always on the go? Missed the show? You can now listen to Guardian Radio talk shows anytime, anywhere on Spotify and YouTube by searching 9FM or by entering the name of your favorite show. You can also listen by logging on to GuardianTalkRadio.com and clicking on the podcast tab. Guardian Radio, continuing to provide you with fresh news and smart talk anywhere, anytime, all day.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
Welcome back to The Doctor is In with me, Dr. Denothra Archer Cartwright. Thank you for joining us for another exciting show on all things health, wellness, and things that pertain to the Bahamian society. Tonight, we're talking about healthier choices for the holidays, tips for a healthier holiday, and we talked earlier about some of the safety things to look out for. So we're going to go into a little bit more. Of course, brought to you by Medical Concierge Services. If you want to join in the conversation, you've got a tip for us, or you have a question or a concern that you want to bring up, you can call in at 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259. So we've got 10 more tips from the United States Department of Agriculture, and they talk about making healthier holiday choices. And so they've got their 10 tips, and this is based on the myplate.com, kind of keeping a balance of things during the holiday season. And the number one basically thing on their list is creating your plate makeover. So kind of thinking about what your plate looks like. One of the things that I do during like holiday time or times when there are going to be a lot of choices and a lot of meals to choose from, I would decide that I'm not going to eat starch on a particular plate, or I'm going to only choose one starch, and that's how I keep my calories down. So instead of potato salad, rice, because you're going to be eating these things probably constantly over the next few weeks. So I would kind of choose, if I really want maybe try some peas and rice, I'll have a bit of peas and rice and maybe lay off the potato salad. So really create your plate and have an idea of how to keep that balance on your plate is really, really important. And sometimes you can skip the carbs, and because there's a lot of other really delicious foods that you can have, green beans with your meats, and because a vegetable and high protein diet is going to be really the healthiest. So Christmas season, because there's so many choices, you really can kind of get away with either just one smaller amount of starch or taking that starch off the plate and still having a delicious plate of food. All right, at your celebration. So don't forget the vegetables, don't forget the whole grains, those types of things. Try to make a variety of things on your plate that's going to be delicious and give you the kind of balance that you want. So that requires a little prep and kind of thinking about those things when you're doing those meals. Adding beans, maybe if you've never added beans before, because those are really, really great in fiber. Your green leafy vegetables, using low-fat milk products probably instead of your heavy cream, and saving healthier options, sharing healthier options during your holiday meal. So instead of having an entire piece of cake or a whole scoop of stuffing, you can split that in half. So there's a lot of ways that you can look at your plate and make the types of changes that are going to be helpful during the holiday season. So make sure you're going to go with a lean protein, turkey, roast beef, beans, fish. Those types of things are going to be really, really lean meats. So you want to have maybe leaner choices in your meats. I'm sorry, I have a little bit of a thing for ham, so I got to have a little ham on my plate. But I try not to overdo it, but I do like ham during the holiday season. So, and maybe like cut down on the sauces. So that's a great way of cutting out the calories without cutting out the foods that you love. It's cutting down on some of the sauces, so the gravy and really saturated fats and sodiums that might be in some of these sauces might be a way to be able to enjoy a variety of different foods without really having to cut things out. But there's some things that you can just take off. So say no to the sauce, and you're going to cut down on some of those calories. And so cheers to a good time. We talked about having water, having low calorie choice for some of your meals. So you don't want to go hard every time. And a lot of calories can be found in the drinks that you have. And so if you have some low calorie choices and remember to drink your water, then it's going to be super, super healthy. The other thing is just a splash of adding water to 100% juice. I tend to do that because even the 100% juice these days is really, really sweet. So you want to think about that when you're having juice, because sometimes juice seems like the healthier choice, but if there's a high content of sugar, you can get away sometimes by either watering down or having really, really small amounts. And that's how you're going to cut down for the holiday season. Baking is going to be healthier. That's one great thing about Christmas. You usually bake your turkey and you bake your ham. I don't know about you guys who like to fry your turkey. That's a new development. But baking is going to be your healthier choice because you're going to cut down on some of those fats, and a lot of the fats out of the meat itself will just be coming out and naturally cooking and stuff like that. So baking is going to be your healthier choice. You're going to stay away from some of those fried foods. And so if you eat like that, you can see how your meats are going to be a lot healthier. We talked about tweaking the sweets and finding alternatives for those things that you may put in your regular recipes. That's going to be super, super important. And guess what? Being the life of the party is actually a good thing, because if you're dancing and you're playing games and you're doing a lot of fun stuff, you're actually going to be working off a lot of calories. And just laughing and having a good time cuts a lot of calories. And so being the life of the party is actually a really, really healthy choice. And so have fun this season and really make a go of it. And we thought you can make that a really fun process. So add some dancing to your holiday Christmas party. That's going to be really great and help people to cut down on calories as much as they can. And then, of course, you want to enjoy your leftovers, so you can make really delicious treats, especially with your ham and turkey. We do a lot of different things with our ham and turkey, and so that it's not lost. And you can do a lot of healthy stuff, like mixing those things with like vegetables and spinach. And so it doesn't have to be the most fattening leftover creations. You can really dice that up and mix that up and make that really, really amazing. And then number 10 on this particular list, and this is one of my favorites, is not just spending time with others, but giving to others. This really is the Christmas season, and we should be reaching out to each other and giving to each other. And so giving is a really amazing part of the season. And you don't, giving food is a part of it too. So you can give food away maybe to those less fortunate or those who didn't cook. And that's a great way to get food also out of the house. And if people are there at your party, you can tell them, just take a plate. And that way you don't have tons and tons of leftovers that you're going to be picking on and eating and going through all of that food. And it decreases the wastage as well, because we don't want to be wasteful during the holiday season. So you do want to have, just give away some of that food, and that's going to be really, really helpful. So this holiday season, Nutritionalist Center of Nutrition Policy and Promotion have shared some of these favorite holiday recipes through My Plate. So you can check out My Plate Makeover Series. And they offer tip sheets to making healthier choices for the Christmas season. So if you want to improve some of your recipes and you want to stay healthy during the season, you want to check out the My Plate Holiday Makeover Series and look for the Make Healthy Holiday Choices tip sheet. That's going to be super helpful during the holiday season. And it provides tips to celebrate with friends and family, such as making exercise a part of the fun, enjoying all the food groups during your holiday meal, and giving some of your time to help others. So you can check out that series, and you can make that a part of your tradition this year to have a happy and safe Christmas and Happy New Year, because New Year is also a part of that season, and we really get into that there. And so we have a couple more. We're gonna move now to the CDC's Healthy Holiday Season, and what they are putting out there for a safe and healthy holiday. And so if you have any tips for us, or if you want to join in the conversation, 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259. And remember, if you're keeping track of some of these health tips, some of the things that we've mentioned on the show today, we will be doing some giveaways on our show on the 20th, and we're going to be using some of the things that we talked about tonight as our trivia questions. So you really want to listen in, and some of these as maybe even notes, and hopefully this will help you to remember some of what we talked about, and maybe even ingrain that in some of the things that you're going to do. We also talked a little bit about the fact that the show started 4 years ago. Our first guest was Dr. Dwayne Sands. Since then, we've had a ton of different shows, and a variety of different topics. And so possibly we'll be asking you to name a couple of those topics too, as one of those trivia questions. All right, so we're going to do our last 12 ways to have a healthy holiday season. And we're getting some of this from the CDC website. And they're talking about how to brighten up your holidays, but keep it healthy, keep it safe, and keep it that way for your loved ones. And one of the things is bundle up, stay dry and warm, so it doesn't get super, super cold in the Bahamas, but we do see that we have a few cold fronts that are going through, and especially for my patients with osteoarthritis, you want to keep warm, you want to wear warm clothing as the weather changes up and down, and you want to drink warm and different things to keep your body warm. And so it's important to stay warm wherever you are. And for those of you who are traveling to cool places, you want to make sure wear proper clothing outdoors and to properly layer. So that's going to be really important. Universally across the board, as we talked about with the flu season, you want to wash your hands as often as possible to prevent the spread of germs. Just a little bit of soap and water for 20 to 30 seconds is going to really kill all the bacteria and the germs that may be on your hand and cause a lot of contamination and passing on the flu and other viral viruses along the way. So just some hand washing, basic hygiene, really, really important. Manage your stress. So give yourself a break if you feel really stressed out, if you feel overwhelmed or out of control. And some of the best ways to manage your stress is to find support, connect socially, and of course, get lots and lots of sleep. We talked about not drinking and driving, so letting others drive, especially if you feel like you're drunk. Feel free to even reach out to a friend if you think they've had too much to drink, and because you don't want to put anyone in danger on the road. So be smoke-free, avoid smoking and even secondhand smoke. So smokers have a greater risk of smokers have greater health risks because of the tobacco use. And so non-smokers are also at risk. And a lot of people don't realize that as you go out, you go to different events and people are smoking, you can be exposed to tobacco because of the people around you. So you want to avoid being around a lot of smoke and a lot of smokers, because secondhand smoke is also pretty bad for you. And it's something that we don't think about, but it's something to, don't forget to fasten your seatbelts while driving, and driving in any type of motor vehicle. You want to buckle up those kids, keep safety. A lot of people get crazy on the roads. For those who aren't listening to the show, who might be driving out there recklessly, you want to keep you and your kids safe. So don't forget to do that, to buckle up. Make sure they're using the appropriate seat and seat belt for the child's height and weight. That's extremely important. and you want to encourage your passengers to do the same. So we want to keep a safe and healthy holiday season. So get all your exams and screening done. If anything that you missed for the year, you want to try and get that in before Christmas holiday season, since you're going to be seeing family, to update your personal and family history. You know, we have quite a few people who come in and you ask them, what's your family history? And they say, I have no idea what my sister or my brother has, and no idea what kind of takes pills or whatever like that. So it's a good time to catch up with family, update your personal family history and your health history, because it really becomes an important part of your history when you're looking to keep healthy. So that is really a major thing that people don't really think about, especially persons where family may not be close. So the holiday season, that might be a good time to pull your mom or dad aside and just kind of find out some of these things, or just kind of reconnect, even in a sense. So the holidays are that kind of time when you see people that you haven't seen in a very, very long time. You also, of course, we talked about monitoring your kids, you know, for food, dangerous toys, drinks that might be in the house. A lot of kids get exposed to alcohol during times like this because it's very fluid and it's around the home. And you just want to keep objects out of the reach of children. You want to protect them from drowning if you're going to be doing outings that are around the pool or at the beach. You want to look out for burns and falls and other potential accidents. So I would say that, you know, monitor your kids, have someone watching them at all times, and that's going to be really, really great. And you're going to practice great fire safety. Most residential fires do happen during this time. And of course, you're going to prepare your food as safe as possible. And we talked about hand washing, cleaning surfaces to avoid cross-contamination is super important. Cooking food to proper temperatures and refrigerating them properly. Those are really the steps to preparing food safely. Washing your hands, cleaning surface contamination, cooking food to proper temperatures, and then refrigerating that food promptly. So right away, don't leave the food out there. So eat healthy, stay active, eat your fruits and vegetables. That's all going to be super, super important for that time. And you're going to be able to have a safe and healthy Christmas. So we'll take one final break and we're going to wrap up our tips for the holiday season. Pay attention, everyone, because these are going to be our trivia questions in the next week or two. So we'll be right back on The Doctor's In with me, Dr. D. Archer.
Beulah, gal, can you believe this? We are now the patrol queens of the neighborhood.
We now large and in charge. So we need to check out what's going on in everybody's yard. What about that gun that we know that Junior and his homeboys just ran out? Can we report that too?
Of course we can.
But we could be in deep trouble if they find out.
We need to report what we see, Beulah. When you call Crime Stoppers, they just answer your call in Miami.
So then we can report everything? Guns, where they hiding the drugs, who shoot who part of which gang, or who disturbing the peace with the loud music and the motorcycles.
Then our neighborhood will be the best in the Bahamas, and everybody gonna want to come live here. And then our house price will go up, gal.
So what we waiting on? What's the number?
If you see something, say something. Let us all pitch in and stop the crime before it's your time. Call 328-8477 from Nassau or 242-300-8477 from the Family Islands. Or text us through the Crack Crime Bahamas app.
Love the show? Want to give your support? Become a sponsor today. Call 302-2300 for our rates and packages. That's 302-2300. Become a sponsor on Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
Always on the go? Missed the show? You can now listen to Guardian Radio talk shows anytime, anywhere on Spotify and YouTube by searching Guardian Radio 96.9 FM or by entering the name of your favorite show. You can also listen by logging on to GuardianTalkRadio.com and clicking on the podcast tab. Guardian Radio, continuing to provide you with fresh news and smart talk anywhere, anytime, all day.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
The doctor is in with me, Dr. Janotha Archer Cartwright. Thank you for joining me tonight on Guardian Radio 96.9 for our Tuesday evening show on all things health, wellness, and things that pertain to the Bahamian society. Our show tonight, of course, brought to you by Medical Concierge Services for all your medical health needs. Reach out to us at 326-1521. We're located in the Heart Center on Collins Avenue. So tonight we really talked about just a healthy way of going about our holiday season, keeping some of the important health tips that we've gathered over the year, and being able to incorporate them into the things that we do during our holidays, but still making our holiday time fun and festive and enjoyable. And so hopefully you incorporate into your activities and you remember to keep active and to try to eat as healthy as you can during this time. And that's going to be great as you roll into the new year. As the new year comes in, I like to start not only reflecting on what has happened in the past year, and I would say despite everything, this was a very blessed year for me and my family, and we hope to go into the new year with even more of the Lord's blessings. And we hope blessings on your home and your family as well, that you will be able to find the great things in life to celebrate and to enjoy and to remember the important moments of being with your family, being with your friends and those that you love. And for me as a Christian, keeping God as the top of your life is extremely important and helps to bring that together. So as we go into this time where we celebrate the birth of Jesus Christ, we should just think about what that means. And I think sometimes during the Christmas season, we get caught up with all of the fun and festive things, all the food, all the partying, and we forget what the real meaning of this is all about. And I think as a whole, as a world, as a people, we have kind of forgotten what Christmas is really about. And it's really a celebration and death of Jesus Christ and what that meant for the world and the Christians and the people of the time. And that's why we truly celebrate. And that's why we have so much closeness with our family, because it's kind of a renewal of ourselves and a renewal of our faith and what our faith is basically based on, and the celebration of the birth of Jesus Christ. So this is really his birthday. We get the gifts, but it's his birthday. It's really that kind of celebration. So even if you're not Christian, but you celebrate this Christian holiday, I think just be reverent and understanding and reflective is an important part of the Christmas season. To leave behind some of the old things that was bringing us down and not positive in our life. I also see as a time almost of like a rebirth in the sense through this time of reflection. So really use this opportunity to think about how do you make positive changes in your life? How do you come out this as a new person that's going to provide positive things into the world and receive positivity back? I think one of the greatest lessons I learned this year and over the past few years, but it really kind of hit me, is this idea of just being content and happy and feeling that you deserve the blessings that the Lord has for you. Because sometimes we are our worst enemy, and most of the things that hold us back in life are our fears. And these fears are really internal stuff that we're dealing with. And we see that the world becomes a very different place. And so love yourself, and then it'll be so much easier to love others and to treat them with respect and to treat them with kindness. And I think we need more of that in the world. And within the hustle and the bustle, I think a lot of people, we've kind of lost how to treat each other. And if you go back to the principles and the foundations of Jesus Christ, it is a foundation of love and care. Being so loving of the world that you're able to sacrifice your own self requires a lot of altruism. And so that part of it, aspiring to be like Jesus Christ, is really what Christianity is about. Aspiring to be better than we are, aspiring to be like God himself. And even though we are imperfect beings, we can find comfort that if we try really, really hard, even if we aren't perfect, that we're going to reach a really high level of being and existence and how we will treat ourselves and each other. And a part of the respect for yourself is to keep up your health, to take care of your body, and to have your body as a temple. So some of these Christian principles play over into real aspects of our life, how we act, and how we treat ourselves and how we treat each other. So I want you all to be safe during this holiday season. Think about the things that you're going to do. Think about how it's going to affect your body and your life, and think about how it's going to affect the people around you. Go about and show love and joy, because that's the best that you can do. And let's all have a safe and happy end of 2022, because 2023 is on its way. It's coming really, really fast. And so as this year goes out, we then have to start preparing for the future. So we'll talk about our New Year's resolutions as well, whilst we do our trivia questions on the 20th. So I look forward to seeing you all then. Thank you all for listening in to The Doctor is In on Guardian Radio with me, Dr. D. Archer. Have a good night and see you all next week.
Mouthful.